Hello, welcome to Keepin It Real, where we feature entrepreneurs who have participated in our guest blog, shareyourstories.online. Today, we'd like to introduce you to Ann Day, who is the founder of Company of Women, a membership organization that supports female entrepreneurs, and is also the co-author of Good Enough. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you today, Ann?
I'm fine once I got over the hurdles of
getting
in.
We're all having to become very familiar with technology, whether we like it or not, right?
Well, that is true. That is true.
Now, one of the things that when I read your feature story this morning, I noticed that you had made a reference to someone who it would be considered one of our contemporaries, Gloria Steinem, in your light bulb moment. When someone was talking about, sort of why would you have started Company of Women in an opportunity to connect like-minded entrepreneurs? So tell us a little about how Gloria Steinem may have been an influence.
Well, we were interviewing different women for the book Good Enough, and one of the women was talking about her childhood and how she wasn't allowed stuffed toys and all those sort of things. And that Gloria Steinem had said, well, as an adult, you can create your own childhood again and you can revisit all of that. And so this friend promptly said to me, well, what was missing from your childhood? And without even missing a beat, I said sisters, because I was an only child and I really missed having sisters. And then from there, I suddenly thought, well, I've got sisters. I've created Company of Women as a way to connect and support other women. And so it was kind of an aha moment. And then I realized I'd sort of met my calling and this is what I was supposed to do.
Isn't that cool? So now all of us have had a corporate life before we became entrepreneurs. So tell us a little bit about what you did in your corporate life that gave you the skill set and the confidence to transition into being an entrepreneur.
I think I was always an entrepreneur in a way. But more what I did was I started nonprofits. So, and it gets back to the only child thing, because I started the Oakville Parent Child Center when I had my first child, because it was lonely being at home raising a child. I helped start the Women's Center. And so all those things were all sort of nonprofits, and I like starting stuff, I guess. And then I worked with the magazine Today's Parent, and then I was in government. And that was actually where I started my business after I left. I often joke I escaped government. But, for 4 years, I worked on women's issues, and it was really a great place to be at that time. So that's kind of where I came from.
So, I know that you have many different chapters of Company of Women. So tell us a little bit about how you structured the membership portion of your business, because certainly now we're having to sort of transition from live events to online events. And I think we're in a wonderful place to make that transition with ease, actually.
Well, yes, although kicking and screaming going online, but we have 8 chapters. We were going to have 9, but one's kind of on hold because of this. But each chapter organizes its own events. So we just took all the events we had organized, spoke to the speakers and made them online. Mm-hmm. And we're doing the same with our conference, which was supposed to be in May and now will be in October online.
So tell us a little bit about how because, we find that technology is a challenge, and you and I had a quick conversation about how, whether we like it or not, we're being forced to be computer and technology savvy. So tell us a little bit about the mindset that's involved in sort of doing that paradigm shift from and I know part of it is forced during our current circumstances, but I think we still have to all make a mind shift from our current, face-to-face.
I think so. You have to get over your fear of what's happening. And actually, I found through COVID, my perfectionism has dropped. And so, well, we made a mistake there. Too bad. Move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we're doing this live and, as we library the segments on YouTube. And had sent me a text message recently and said, wow, that really was, wasn't scripted. And I said, no, it's a virtual live chat. So, like you say, the perfectionism goes out the window because that's the whole idea. We want to try to keep it real. So.
Well, yeah, and I think, some of the positives about going online is because we have members across southwestern Ontario, is they're all signing up and getting to know each other. So, that is an advantage. And then the other advantage, especially with the conference, which we're now calling a summit, but is that I've got speakers from across Canada, because you don't have to worry about travel and distance and so forth. So there are some benefits.
You're absolutely right. And one of the ladies that I connected with in my network recently said, I haven't gassed up my car since March.
Oh, wow.
So it's giving us that connectivity piece is really very important because, as you say, we can now, just prior to you and I being in this discussion, I was talking to somebody from the Philippines. And, I'm still awestruck by how the technology piece gives us an opportunity to really expand our horizons.
Well, that's right.
Do you see any opportunities for Company of Women to expand outside of sort of the nucleus geographic area? Do you think that there'll be some opportunities to sort of expand your reach into other areas of the country? And perhaps
I do, because I think one of the reasons I really like the idea of having this national summit is we've got speakers coming from BC, Calgary, and Halifax, and so forth. And hopefully that will draw an audience from women entrepreneurs in those provinces. So, we're going to continue doing online until next year, at least.
Right.
I don't see the situation changing that much where you can have large people gathering
together. Right.
I miss the hugs, though.
Yes, exactly. So can you tell me a little bit about, because you've obviously been doing a lot of wonderful workshops and online connections and having your meetings online. So is there a theme or a word that you would use to describe that people are sort of sharing with you as you talk to other entrepreneurs across the country?
Well, the first word would be shock when this all happened. Really, I think it all took us all by surprise. Now I find people are wanting to learn. And so I find that the webinars or sessions we put on are the ones that, the learning ones, are the ones that they're signing up for, more than at the beginning we were more sort of consoling each other about what was happening.
Right. Yeah, that support mechanism that we were all looking to lean on each other for, ideas of, what do we do with all this time? I don't know about you, but I felt like I had the cleanest house in the city. All I was doing was, cleaning another room or another cupboard or something like that to keep myself busy. So one of the things that we do in the guest blog is we talk about our 3 words of advice. And I think that very poignant to not only what you do in your career and your business life, but I think this is, having known you for a little while, and I would have to say that this is kind of a credo that you live by. And your 3 words are support one another. So tell us a little bit about why those are important for you.
Well, we're all in this together. So I think it's very important that instead of trying to compete with each other, that instead we work together and we support each other, because, everybody's situation is different. In fact, somebody said about this COVID that, we're in this together, but we could be in different boats. And I think that's very true.
Yeah,
it's very true, because one person's situation could be extremely difficult. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But it's support each other beyond COVID. I think that's always been our theme.
Your motto, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for spending some time with me today and in part of this Business Mentorship Keeping It Real series. And to our listening and viewing audience, we hope that you have learned a thing or two today in introducing you to the person behind the logo. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.